we have these beautifully illustrated designs that are drawn in pen and ink, and they print beautifully. In our last lesson about fabric, we mentioned that if you fill your design with fabric, you may want to change the thickness of the lines so that your detail shows out a little bit more. On the right side, we have our treatment that was filled with a busy fabric, and as you can see, our detail lines look a little bit light. I think that when you go to print your design, you're going to be surprised. The lines actually will print, I think, a little bit darker than what you see on the screen, but you can change the thickness of those lines. And you're going to have to experiment, but I don't think you're going to have to change it by much. So in order to make those detail lines on the right darker, highlight your design, click on it with your mouse, and make sure up on your toolbar that you are in your standard default mode, and that is the black arrow. So after you've highlighted your design, then open up your properties box. Now I had closed my properties box over here on the right side, so I'll just click on my properties box to open it up, and if I want to have it stay, I will pin it. I will push on that push pin there. Now I'm just going to move over my canvas a little bit so I can see my screen. Here in your properties box, you have what's known as the stroke width, or that's your line width. It's your stroke. And you can increase the size of your stroke. Our normal default width is 0.75. So I'm just going to click on the arrow and it will go up to 1. It says 0 now, but it'll go up to 1. There. Now you can see that the lines did get a little bit thicker, and I think you're going to be surprised at how nice that does look when you go to print. You can actually make this even thicker. I can press on my arrow key here by my stroke width and go up to 2. But I think that looks too dark. So I can actually have the difference. I can enter in 1.5 and I'll hit my enter key. There, and that looks pretty nice. And here's an example of various stroke widths that are used on top of a busy fabric. Again, you will have to experiment. I think for a normal black and white rendering, or a rendering that is pastel in colors, I think you're going to find that your designs print beautifully, and they will print slightly different than what your screen looks like. Even the stroke width of 1 on top of a busy fabric will print beautifully. So if you need to change your stroke width, you do have your options. I generally find that you don't have to change it by much, and generally for my presentations I probably don't go much higher than a stroke width of 1.25, but it will depend on your own computer screen and your own printer.